Hello, this is Lesson 3 of our FLL series going through the fundamentals of LEGO robotics. In today's video, we will be going over logic, such as if-then statements and loops, and we will be practicing this by coding with the color sensor. To follow along, you'll need a LEGO Spike Prime kit and a computer or tablet that is connected to the internet. First, let's learn about if-then statements. If-then statements allow the robot to follow a set of instructions when a specific condition is met. This is useful for programming a robot to react to its environment. For example, if the color sensor detects red, then stop. In this case, the robot continuously checks for the color red. When red is detected, the robot stops moving. If red is not detected, nothing changes. What about if-then-else statements? If-then-else statements add another layer of decision-making. Instead of stopping when a condition isn't met, the robot follows an alternate set of instructions. For example, if the color sensor detects red, then stop. Else, move forward. This means the robot will continue moving forward unless it detects the color red, at which point it will stop. Now let's move on to loops. Loops allow the robot to repeat actions automatically. There are different types of loops that serve different purposes. Let's go over them. First, repeat X times. This loop runs a set of instructions a specific number of times. Example, if a robot is programmed to drive in a square, it can repeat the sequence move forward, turn right 4 times. There's also wait until, which pauses execution until a condition is met. Example, the robot can be programmed to wait until the color sensor detects green, then move forward. This is similar to how we wait at a traffic light before a crossing. There's also repeat until, and this loop continues execution of instructions until a condition is met. Example, move forward, repeat until the color sensor detects red, then stop. The robot will keep moving forward until it sees red. We also have the forever loop, where a set of instructions is repeated indefinitely. What are some actions that humans do on a loop? Take a minute to think for yourself. Here's an important tip. Use a forever loop for sensor detection. This ensures that the robot continuously checks for changes in sensor input, allowing it to respond in real time. For example, if using a color sensor to detect red, placing the if-then statement inside a forever loop will make sure the robot keeps checking for the color instead of stopping after one check. Now we'll move on to an activity. The traffic light activity's goal is to program a robot to follow conditions based on color detected by the color sensor. First, let's program it for when the robot sees green. If the robot sees the color green, it will move forward. So let's begin to write the code. You always want to start with the yellow when program starts block. This tells the robot to begin running the code as soon as you press the start button. Next, drag the pink set movement motors to block and connect it underneath. This tells the robot which motors to use for moving. In this case, it's set to C and D because the wheels or driving motors are connected to ports C and D on my robot. Make sure to choose the ports your own motors are connected to. Then add the pink set movement speed to 50% block. This controls how fast the robot will drive. You can change the percentage to make the robot go faster or slower depending on what your project needs. Now, drag the orange forever loop block and place it below. This block makes the robot repeat whatever it is inside over and over again for as long as the program is running. Inside the forever loop, drag the orange if-then-else block and place it there. This block checks if a condition is true. If it is, it will run the code inside the then section. If not, it will run the code inside the section instead. Now, add the blue sensor is color block inside the if part. This block is checking if the color sensor, which in my case is in port A, sees a specific color. You'll want to set the letter to match where your color sensor is plugged in. In this case, the sensor is port A. Then, choose which color you want the robot to react to. For example, green or black. In our case, it will be green here. Inside the then part, drag the pink start moving forward block. This tells the robot to move forward whenever it detects the color you picked. Inside the else part, add the pink stop moving block. This tells the robot to stop driving if it doesn't see that specific color. Now let's code it for when the robot sees yellow to make it slow down. Again, we'll start by dragging the when program starts block. This tells the robot to begin running the code as soon as you press the start button. Like last time, we're also going to drag the set movement motors to block and connect it underneath. My program is connected to C and D. I'll drag the orange forever block and connect it below. This block repeats whatever is inside over and over again while the program is running. This means the robot will constantly check the condition inside the loop. Inside the forever loop, add the orange if-then-else block. This block checks a condition. If it's true, it runs the code inside. If it's not true, it runs the else. Now, place the blue sensor's color block into the if section. This checks whether the color sensor in port A is detecting a specific color. You can use the drop-down to pick the color you want the robot to respond to. Here, we're going to set it to yellow. If the robot sees the color yellow, now it will do the following. First, set the movement speed to 15% so it drives slowly and carefully. Then, the robot will start moving forward. If the robot doesn't see the color yellow, it will run the else part, which tells it to stop moving. Robot sees the color red, it will now stop. Here's the code for that. We're going to again begin with the when program starts block. We are also using the pink set movement motors block again. Make sure this matches the ports your motors are plugged into. Mine are still C and D. Now add the pink set movement speed to block. I'm setting mine to 50%, and this block is used to change how fast the robot will move. Here we're telling it to go at half speed, which is a nice balance between speed and control. Now we're going to connect the pink start moving forward block underneath. This makes the robot start moving forward as soon as the program begins. Next, drag the orange forever block and place it below. This block repeats everything inside it again and again while the program is running, so the robot keeps checking what's happening. Inside the forever loop, add the orange if-then-else block. This lets the robot make a decision. It checks if something is true. If it is, it runs the code inside the then section. If not, it runs the else section. Now add the blue sensor's color block into the if part. This is checking whether the sensor in port A sees the color red. You can use the drop-down to change the color depending on other program needs. But for us, we're using red. So if the robot sees the color red, it will stop moving. If the robot doesn't see red, it will keep moving forward. Now you can put this code to the test, seeing your robot act as if it's responding to a traffic light. In the next lesson, we'll be working on coding a line-following robot using sensors to guide its movements and make it follow a path automatically. Thank you for watching, and we hope you learned something new and enjoyed the video. See you in the next lesson.